Well, good afternoon, Moore County. This is John Nagy, editor of The Pilot in Southern Pines, coming to you from the back of the Pinehurst studio. You just missed a swarm of 5 teenage boys who stopped by and like sheep in a freshly grown field, mowed through an array of snacks and sodas. The production team is still awed by it. Anyway, I wanted to reassure you that we have publisher David Warnoff locked in a closet, safely away from Facebook Live. We still have access to him so he can sign checks, but he's spending his time practicing his eye contact with the camera and reading up on what being out on maternity leave really means. I thank him for sitting in and auditioning for a role in the sequel Anchorman 3 Off Script. So I registered today at 98 degrees when I had my temperature taken at work. Not as cool as Coolio Warnoff, but not too shabby. Let's have a look at the numbers right now. I looked earlier at the dashboard. The Moore County Health Department is reporting now 147 cumulative cases of coronavirus. That's up 7 just from yesterday. A number of those new cases are tied to the first nursing home outbreak in Pinehurst. Now, in total, 80 people have now tested positive for the COVID-19 disease at Pinehurst Healthcare and Rehabilitation Center over there on Blake Boulevard. The patients include 57 residents and 23 employees of the nursing home. So we are still looking and monitoring that to see if that number changes any. More than half of the county's cases are linked to an outbreak at that facility. The outbreak is also blamed for 3 of the 6 deaths attributed to COVID-19 in Moore County. 2 residents and 1 employee of the nursing home have died in connection with the disease. And that number came to us from the state. Now, separate positive cases have also been reported at 2 other congregate living facilities in Moore County. A resident of Brookdale Senior Living of Pinehurst tested positive on April 23rd, and a case involving an individual at Peak Resources Pine Lake was reported late last week. Now, Robert Whitman, who is the director of the Moore County Health Department, recently said that they have enough kits and they will conduct free testing for COVID-19 at every nursing home and assisted living community in the county. However, that must be requested by the facility's administration. Now, the folks who are administrators over at Brookdale and St. Joseph of the Pines have taken Whitman up on his offer. Now, you know, St. Joe's is one of the largest employers in the county, so that's good to see. The health department can only require testing if 2 or more cases are confirmed at a single facility. So all this news comes as the Pilot reported around lunchtime today that at least 16 employees of First Health of the Carolinas have tested positive for COVID-19. The hospital disclosed this information only after being contacted by the Pilot, which was following up on a tip that said 9 employees were sick from the coronavirus. So again, that's a total of 16. We talked to Emily Sloan, who's the Director of Public Relations for First Health, and she said 2 of those employees have since recovered, and the hospital system has conducted contact tracing on all of the infected workers. She goes on to say, and I'm kind of reading here, there has been no evidence that an employee who tested positive had any risk of exposing patients to the virus. First Health continues to follow strict guidelines to protect our employees, providers, and patients from the spread of COVID-19. All staff entering a hospital or building where patient care services are provided undergo temperature screening each day for signs of possible COVID-19 infection before being allowed to report to work. And that was the end of her comment. So overall, there's about 5,400 people who work for First Health Now, it's a big operation. It's not just in Moore County. They have hospitals here in Pinehurst, might be the one you're most familiar with, Hope County, Richmond, and Montgomery. The First Health did not say where the infected employees work or what departments they work in. Now, on its website, the hospital system said it has now performed 2,730 tests for the coronavirus. Of that total, since it began testing, 267 cases have been positive. Excuse me. Again, that is a cumulative number. It represents First Health's entire multi-county service area. They're still, I think they're still awaiting tests on test results for 85 other patients. Now, we're going to continue to be updating this news on thepilot.com/coronavirus. As always, this particular content on the coronavirus is free for you to read on our website, and we're also posting updates on our Facebook page. Now, also making news today, Governor Roy Cooper over in Raleigh signed a broad financial relief package tied to the virus. The General Assembly on Saturday passed two bills to spend $1.57 billion of this is federal money coming to North Carolina for coronavirus relief. I think the state in total is receiving $3.5 billion in federal money from the CARES Act. That's the abbreviation for it. Now, the governor also said he expects either tomorrow or Wednesday to announce the specifics of his phase one reopening, what stores can open and what people are allowed to do. And he said he's going to do that either Tuesday or Wednesday. So we're going to be checking in on that, of course, tomorrow. And if it happens tomorrow, we'll bring it to you then, of course. Now, he's still preaching plenty of caution. He said he's hoping the state can get to the first phase by this weekend. So they're going to just sort of see what the trend is for all the numbers and then figure out sort of where to go from there. Now, in other statewide coronavirus news today, if you've got a car, you own a car or truck, drivers and vehicle owners now have 5 months added to the expiration date of any license or permit or registration or other credential that's been issued by the DMV. That was all part of the legislation that Cooper signed this afternoon. It waives all the fees, fines, penalties for not complying with the old date. So I think one of my registrations is August, and that would now have 5 months added to it. So tax payments, inspection deadlines, those are all delayed to match your new expiration date. So whatever your expiration date was for your vehicle, you can add on 5 months to it. Now, in somewhat what I'll call lighter angle to all of this, Laura Douglas earlier today wrote about a woman down in Jackson Springs who runs a little business involving sugar gliders. I had no clue what a sugar glider was until I read the story. It sounded like something you buy in the candy store down there in Myrtle Beach at the Candy for All or whatever the heck that store is called. These things are like tiny exotic marsupials. They're natives of Australia. They're Google it, sugar glider, cute little buggers. And some people keep them as pets. A lot of times you have to keep them as pairs. Please don't tell my kids, okay? I don't need anything else like that. But anyway, Linda Bordelon carries toys and accessories for these animals. And one of those toys is these plastic monkeys. The animals seem to enjoy playing with them. You know, the monkeys that kind of have, I'm sort of doing a visual here, you know, they kind of have their hands like that. I hope that looked goofy because it sure felt goofy to me. Someone, anyway, posted on Facebook a picture of them using one of these monkeys as like a hair clip behind their head, and it held the elastic strings on their face mask. So, you know, so you give your ears a rest. So instead of putting the elastic around your ears, you use this monkey. So it turns out that Bordelon's business got cleaned out of a 2-year supply of monkeys in a week. Power of social media, folks. I told you it was lighter, okay? That's about what we got going on this afternoon. This evening, I know managing editor David Sinclair is sitting in on a regularly scheduled meeting of the county's Board of Health. They had a meeting last week we told you about. So we'll see this week what they're talking about. And David should have something posted online later this evening. Also, Laura Douglas has interviewed a local virologist about the coronavirus and what a reopening might entail and how you might manage your exposure risk with that reopening. So I'll be editing that story a bit later, and I'll post it online, although it may not get up until the morning. So that's just a little bit of what we're working on for you as we get the paper ready for Wednesday. Recapping the main news today, we are now up to a cumulative of 147 coronavirus cases in Moore County and still 6 deaths. A total of 80 people have now tested positive for the COVID-19 disease at Pinehurst Healthcare and Rehabilitation Center. The patients include 57 residents and 23 employees of the nursing home over there on Blake Boulevard. Also, First Health, responding to questions from the pilot, said it has 16 employees across its healthcare system who have tested positive for the virus. Now, lastly, if you've been with me through these broadcasts, you know I've been sharing with you examples of random acts of kindness that others have done or had done for them. This afternoon, I don't have the story of another person. I have my own. Now, as many of you know by now, my wife of 20 years passed away very suddenly and unexpectedly last Monday evening. It was absolutely stunning and a devastating experience for me and our 2 children who are 18 and 13. And frankly, getting back and doing some work today was more of a relief than anything for me. So we're all doing okay. Beginning almost immediately last Monday evening, and going right up until this moment, I and the kids have been the recipients of an endless amount of prayers, concerns, offers of help, and more fried chicken and macaroni and cheese than 4 families can eat. Trust me, we're still trying to give portions away. Never have I felt more uplifted by a community than I have been this past week. We are immeasurably blessed by your grace, and I and Lorley and Aiden, thank you for that. But we're greedy, so keep the prayers and good thoughts coming. We're good on chicken though, so please, I've got a flock of chickens still in the refrigerator. In these coming weeks, I'll be in and out a bit. So at some point, we're going to have to let publisher David Warnoff out of his closet and sit him down in front of the camera to talk with you. Hopefully, he will not send me away on any more maternity leaves. But when you're as cool as he is, it can be very easy to freeze up in front of the camera. And I can only roast him this way because today is his birthday. May the 4th be with you, David. Happy birthday. You still have the lifeguard good looks and the Roger Federer serve. That's it for now, folks. I'm going to see you back here tomorrow afternoon. Until then, be safe, be kind, and keep your distance.